Welcome back. You're watching Sarhad Ke Us Par, a program that we telecast from Afghanistan and Pakistan. The question we are asking in this segment is, will militant groups change their strategy post-2014 in Afghanistan and Pakistan? Mr. Najmuddin Sheikh, just before the break, you said that we have the Uzbeks, the Tajiks, the Chinese, all kinds of people in North and South Waziristan. What is going to happen to them in 2014? And that's a very valid question that you raise. Kathy, you have covered, Afghanistan Taliban and the Pakistani Taliban both. What's going to happen to them 2014?
Well, if I could just say, I mean, Taliban is thrown around, the name Taliban is thrown around for everybody. Already there are changes have occurred. I think you have to look at the whole, the complexion of the militancy in the tribal areas in Waziristan has changed. With fewer Arabs, more Central Asians, also Turkic origin with European passports, a concern for everybody. Groups like the Islamic Jihad Union has gotten much stronger, poses threats to Europe. I mean, it's a different, to keep looking at it the same as 2001 through the Arab Spring has opened up areas where a lot of the Arabs are able to go back.
So 2014, will they relocate back into Afghanistan?
No, well, I think you also have to, Afghanistan, these training camps didn't start with the Taliban. They were there pre-Taliban. They were there after 1992. In 1995, the U.S. report on terror listed PSYOP as a concern as a terrorist. So all I'm trying to say is that you have to try and take a more larger look at the situation, and there are no easy answers and no simple answers as well. You've got players on both sides that are problematic. You've got a changing environment in the world. You've got the Middle East that's opened up a certain amount of areas for people. So I think it's to say that Afghanistan will become a safe haven post-2014 is incorrect. To say that Pakistan will stay the same post-2014 also is incorrect. I think it's already changing. There are so many convulsions going on already.
But you made an important point, and I'd like to throw back to you. This is a concern over here also when our leaders over here say that they're going to reconcile with the Taliban. And of course a concern over there too, that what if they end up sharing power, and as Kathy said, some of them who are militants are already in power. So 2014 is really not the watershed moment. The process has already started. What do we do?
Let me go back to some of the issues that were raised by the panel. First, I was delighted to hear the host on the other side said that we believe that we have made mistakes and we have learned from the mistakes. The sad reality, unfortunately, says otherwise, which is that, there's a saying in this region is that the only thing we learn from history is that we don't learn anything. It was said that there is no process, there is no plan. The Afghans have put forth a roadmap to the Pakistanis in their last meeting, which is a 5-point step plan on how to reach a political settlement. And the Pakistanis have a hold of that, and we would expect the Pakistanis to move on that. But the sad reality here, one more time, is that whenever we move forward, we take one step forward, 2 steps back.
Now, what do we do to create this, make this a common goal to
here's
fight
what we do
together?
We stop using militancy as an instrument of policy. This is the #1 prerequisite. They have done it in the past, and there's insecurity within the state establishment because there's the India factor, because there's the Kashmir factor, and because there's the Afghanistan factor. The second step is nothing can beat sincere cooperation between two partners. So far, unfortunately, the Afghans believe that we have not had sincere cooperation from the Pakistani side.
Thank you very much.
Najmuddin Sheikh Saab.
Right now, we have a situation where Mullah Fazlullah and Fakir Muhammad, who has been arrested but who has not been handed over to Pakistan yet, found shelter in Kunnar and Nuristan and have been using that as a base for attacks in Pakistan. That the actions that Pakistan has taken, and I think that now much more restraint is being exercised, is in retaliation for the attacks that are coming from that side. So it isn't the Afghan civilian that is being targeted, it is the Pakistani militant who has found shelter there.
Refuge there. Bushra ji, just quickly.
I think it isn't helping this discussion if we continue with this blame game. Both sides have a problem, and we have to actually sit together and sort our problems. We have to move away from the old strategic depth policies. We haven't really clearly moved away from our policies. We have to also deal with what is going on in North Waziristan. It isn't helping this country if we continue to have safe havens or training camps in FATA. We have to extend our writ in FATA before we start blaming others. We should have actually, Fazlullah should not have left Swat. Why did Fazlullah and his all his supporters leave
Your party was in government.
Well, we have been raising, listen, we have been actually taking all these issues up within the government also. You have to also recognize that the previous parliament was basically a transition setup where the foreign policy was not entirely in the control of the parliament.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. After your senior leader Bashir Bilor was killed by the Taliban, there was a consensus amongst the ANP that there is going to be military operation in North Waziristan. What kept you back?
You need, like in Swat, we were able to get a consensus for an operation in Swat and get Swat cleared. For North Waziristan, we need a consensus.
Why was there not a consensus bid? We were under the impression that the consensus was there after Malala Yousafzai was shot in Swat. That there was a consensus.
Well,
what happened?
A lot happened since. And so I personally feel that we need to also clearly recognize that we need action. We cannot, there is this thing about maintaining status quo as far as Waziristan or FATA is concerned. And that
what held us back from going into North Waziristan? You said a lot happened. Exactly what happened?
Let me tell you, we have tried through our APC also to actually push for some kind of action, even if we need to talk to some of the groups. We wanted a process to start. We cannot continue the way we are right now. Just no action, no talks. Do nothing till 2014. That process where we are trying to maintain status quo is not helping Pakistan at all. The other point that I want to raise again and again, it isn't only about Afghanistan and Pakistan. We need to open it up. Within the country, we need to open it up to other groups. And within the region, we need to open it up to other countries so that we can all sit together around the table and try to find a solution.
So you have extended an olive branch. You are being honest. You're saying that we have problems here, that we were not able to fully control our foreign policy here, that we are also in a transition phase. Be patient with us. The politicians are really on your side. But what about the region? Would the United States allow Iran to play a major role in what happens post-2014? That's a major question to you over there, Mr. Sultanzoy.
Thank you. Are we politically prepared to take ownership, Mr. Ambassador, both on the government level and at a societal level in Afghanistan and Pakistan, from your point?
As far as Afghanistan is concerned, may I just suggest that I had very close relation with the late Benazir back in London. We were talking about this issue of the region. So therefore, may I just suggest that the case of Afghanistan and Pakistan that have been taken by the military wing of Pakistan, which have not been discussed with the civilian. I'm pretty sure that if Ms. Bhutto was alive, if she was the one with full authority, the situation would have changed. But now, what I'm saying here to those across the border, to the Pakistani people, is that the people of Afghanistan do not have much problem with the people of Pakistan. They have been very helpful to the people of Afghanistan, especially those refugees. But the problem is the foreign policy of Pakistan. The problem is the strategy which they have adopted regarding Afghanistan. And the problem is that after all of these years, still the people of Afghanistan, especially those who are the mainstream in Afghanistan, they believe that the strategy of Pakistani government, which have been conducted by the military, have not changed. So therefore,
what should be done? What should be done? Well, briefly.
Well, what can we do is that if we can continue this interaction between the two nations to really progress with this confidence-building process between the two nations, to see ways and means how to resolve our problem, to pressurize our government to go for peace, not to sacrifice the nations for their own advantage.
We have an answer here. Bushra Gohar Sahiba.
I personally feel that we need to intensify our engagement with the civil society, with politicians, with parliament-to-parliament exchanges need to increase. It should not be held hostage by the bureaucratic exchanges.